We drink tequila. We talk.
Welcome to Team Tequila Talks.
Okay.
Well, hello.
All right. So we're going to be passing out some pink shots. We got pink drinks today. Pink drinks.
But not the Starbucks pink drink.
Hell
This is the healthy pink drink.
This is the healthy pink drink.
Healthy pink
as healthy
drink.
as tequila can be.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with by special request.
Yes.
From our guest, Ariel Tweto. Everybody, welcome to Team Tequila Talks. We're going to give a little cheers to get the episode started.
Cheers, my lady.
And we, by special request from Ariel, are doing a cocktail and a shot.
You are welcome. Oh my God, that's delicious.
It's delicious.
What is this?
So this is from our friends at Como's Tequila. We know and love them. If you are a regular listener, you see them pop on quite a bit. But they have this Rosa Reposado.
Rosa.
Yeah, I know.
Reposado.
Reposado
Yep.
Rosa. And what it is they age their tequila in red wine barrels. So it ends up becoming pink.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought since it's February and it's Valentine's Day.
And it's almost Lover's Day.
Lovers Day.
Oh, it's almost like it's sweet.
Well,
Or
it's
not
not.
sweet, but like vanilla.
It's your taste. So it's basically, I think this is basically in an reposado. This is basically a reposado. So you're
It is a
getting,
reposado.
so you're getting those vanilla notes, that caramel, but it's just aged in French red oak wine barrels. So you're getting everything you need in a reposado, but it's just pink.
Oh, it just makes my stomach feel so warm.
Is making you feel in love, fall in love
yeah.
with the Rosa.
Yeah.
Falling in
these
love
two
with
girls
the
next to
Reposado
me.
Rosa. All right. Well, I'm actually splitting mine in two because I kind of wanted to savor it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to kind of taste it a little bit more as opposed to downing it.
I don't love shooting Comos. I like to enjoy Comos.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Which is why I decided to. This is going to be like a 3-part shot for me because
Yeah.
I really enjoyed tasting it. But we have our guest Ariel Tweto, and I think you probably might have originally seen her on Discovery Channel on Flying Wild Alaska, which I think is just such a cool concept. And now you are doing some voiceover work.
Yep. Doing some voiceover work, doing a couple adventure TV shows, traveling, goofing off.
Is it the Great North or the Great White North?
So the Great North.
The Great North. That's what I thought. But I
That's-
didn't want to say it wrong.
Wait,
so
that's the travel
that's
show?
the animated series.
The animated
Oh, the
series.
animated series.
Nick Offerman, Jenny Slate, Alanis Morissette, Will Forte.
Ooh.
And then I walk in there, I'm like, what the heck am I doing in here? Because I do not know what I'm doing at all.
Well, tell us how you started. How do you get to be a voiceover actress and not want to be a voiceover actress?
Oh man, I wanted to, but then
you wanted to?
I wanted to. I've never studied it. I don't know what I'm doing, but so the Great North, it's about this little odd Alaskan family. And I'll be super honest. I think a big reason I got it is because I'm a native Alaskan, and I think they needed someone to represent Alaska, and so I'm like, no shame, I will be that person.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. So I feel super grateful, and I love it, and I'm learning so much. It's terrifying. The last episode, we just did a table read, and my character is stoned the whole time, so I have the giggles, and I'm like, when's recording? Because I need to do some research.
Which means tequila.
Yeah.
I have to say that I've had times where I had to be drunk on camera, and I don't get drunk. But because you don't want to be drunk on set, that can actually be pretty dangerous. You can trip over stuff and whatnot. But I have absolutely taken like a 1/4 ounce to get the taste in my mouth, right? To get that, like, it takes you back, right? Like, it takes you to that place where you have had several drinks.
Right.
And it's the taste in your mouth, and it's got that, the smell, and it just kind of helps you be a bit methody, I guess.
Yeah.
It's literally just like kind of like a swirl in your mouth, just so you can get that taste. And I think it's kind of a way to get in that headspace.
Like body memory.
Okay. I might try that because, I've never, I was like, I don't know how to get there or do research because I love laughing so much, but fake laughing
It's hard.
through the whole episode. It's so hard. And then you feel sort of dumb. You're just like, ha ha ha. And then I'm like, what was that? I don't even laugh like
Well,
that.
now you have a new appreciation. What's that movie where they were all stoned? It's
Pineapple
the
Express.
Hangover.
Yes.
Now you have a different appreciation for that movie.
I know.
That's
I feel
actually
like
really
that
hard.
crew is not shy about being stoned all the time. It wouldn't surprise me if they were actually stoned.
Yeah.
Or they're just really good actors.
Really good actors. Well, my first episode, I'm a clam vagina. And then like you never know what you're going to get when you're reading the script, and so it makes it
That's
so
kinda
exciting.
fun.
It was so fun.
A clam vagina?
Yeah. There was like the little girls had put on a play for their school, and it was all about like feminism and like vaginas, and so I was a clam.
I mean, you got to go into the heads of these writers.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of looks like a clam.
Well, you can do so many different things. It's got that pearl in the middle.
I know. That's what I'm
It's like that you get, or is that oysters or clams?
I think it's oysters.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's oysters.
but
Oysters.
okay.
But an
Same
oyster
idea.
also can look vaginal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
They're
I could not pick. I don't know if I could tell the difference between an oyster and a clam in the wild. I think clams are smaller and have smoother shells.
Yes,
right.
for
And
sure.
Oysters are rough.
and they're kind of bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but both delicious.
Well, I think with animated series, you just have so much room to do whatever you want,
Yeah,
right?
do.
Because you're not bound by this bound by the boundaries of this dimension,
Yeah,
right?
everything's possible in animated world. Like everything's possible. And I'm falling in love with animation. Like I want to write my own cartoon now, and it's so fun. It's like you're going to the playground because everyone's laughing. You learn to try to have no fear like everyone else around you, but it is just like just coming in sort of green and not knowing like what the heck I'm doing was scary. But now that I see everyone's just non-judgmental, everyone just wants to do their best job. And I'm just like, I want to go in there fearless and just like have a good time.
Eddie Murphy recently was talking about possibly doing a Puss in Boots. Who is he in? The donkey. He wants his own donkey movie from.
Well, Puss in Boots that's Antonio Banderas, isn't it?
Right, because he got the spinoff, but Eddie Murphy didn't get the spinoff from what's the movie called? Yeah. So he was like, the other day he was promoting another film, and he was like, I really want to do Donkey because that's the only time as an actor you can be that big. And you're not bound by what the lens sees and like over exaggerating or telling. And so he's like, he loves it because he's like, I show up in my sweats, no hair and makeup. I don't have to brush my teeth necessarily.
Yeah.
He's like, I get paid millions and millions of dollars to go,
There's nothing wrong with that. I wish I took that though. So I do adventure shows and stuff too. And then I go and look at some of the edits. And I'm like, dang it. I wish I brushed my hair. Or I wish I put on some kind of like under eye stuff. But then when I'm doing it, I'm like, no, I'm a wild woman. I want to be dirty.
Yeah.
And then you go and like,
But you actually are a wild woman. You mentioned that you are Native Alaskan, and that is why you got cast on this show. But I mean, I think we should paint the picture. You are remote Native Alaskan, which brings me to the cocktail that we're drinking, because you grew up in a very small town outside of Nome, Alaska, which is pretty much the northernmost point of Alaska, right?
it's like mid, but it's probably one of the biggest, I guess it's the biggest town like on the Arctic Circle or above.
Right.
Fact check that, but it's like near
You
there.
are our fact checker.
you are. I mean, you are the resident expert here.
Yeah, no, it's way up there.
So I've talked to you several times, and you go, we just catch our food at home. We just go, we eat what we can find. It's very seasonal. We eat all kinds of just raw meat, raw fish, etc. So we came up with this cocktail for you that was a blend of Valentine's Day and a blend of Tweto.
Oh.
And it is called, are we calling it the Forager or the Love Forager? I think you should get to decide.
I think it should be the Love Forager. Because also lover of nature. It doesn't have
Lover
to be
of travel.
Lover of
True,
travel.
true.
You don't have to like love a person for Valentine's Day. Can I just go on a date with nature for my Valentine's?
I mean, look, I think this cocktail, which by the way is a TTT original created by Cassandra.
Well, we kind of always put our own spins, but a lot of times, like, there's only so many ways that you can spin a classic margarita.
Right.
And this is definitely more of a super original, try to do a little bit of research online to find something similar, and it doesn't exist.
That's insane.
So therefore it is an original.
It is.
And it has, let's tell the people what it has in. It has, we use Jim and Bolt, which also we featured on the show before. Female-owned company. It has Damiana in it.
What's Damiana?
So Damiana is an herb, and it's from the earth. You can find it in Texas, but it's more local to Mexico. And it is an herb that it is an aphrodisiac. So hey, Valentine's Day.
Hey,
whether you want to love someone else or love nature, we're not mad at you if you want to go enjoy nature after having some Damiana.
But bestiality isn't okay.
No, I meant like go get down with yourself out in the bushes.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that's not okay.
Did you guys both go there? Did you think
I did. I was like, hey, I could get down with some moose.
Little sheep. But you can get down with some sheep, which is why the sheep herders have laws and all that stuff.
Oh my God. You went there, Sherry.
No.
Well, we both thought you went there.
I meant like, I was thinking like sex on the beach, but with yourself.
In the bush.
In the bush.
Or on the beach under a towel. I don't know.
In the bush.
Go be with nature and love yourself. But this is the Forager kind of was birthed from this idea of a nuts and berries shot, which is Frangelico and Chambord, or your respective nut and raspberry liqueurs. And to me, that was a little sweet. And it comes with heavy cream, so it was a little sweet and heavy. Yeah. And I wanted to take the spirit of that and kind of the nuts and berries, especially with this forager aspect of growing up in wild Alaska and blending with Valentine's Day, having a pink drink, and taking this nuts and berries concept and introducing tequila.
Which we have to say, it's quite delicious.
It's actually really good.
It's really
so
good.
good.
And it's pink. So it's very, I feel like, useful for Valentine's. But you can also have it whenever you feel like it.
Oh, 100%.
But it's definitely beautiful. We poured it in the glass. And it's like blush pink, I would say.
It looks like rosé, or like this rosé.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, Reposado Rosa.
We haven't even finished the first shot.
I haven't even finished it.
But then when you pour the coconut milk, it gives you that really like swirly white pink effect. So it's actually a very beautiful drink, kind of sexy. So if you're doing like a little Valentine's by yourself or in the bush,
or with your partner,
or with your partner,
but not cheap.
But not cheap. I mean, not cheap.
I think that it did look really pretty. It kind of looks like in the coffee commercials or, coffee shop spots where they pour the cream in the black coffee and it's got that cloudy, milky, very cool effect. I don't know what you would call that.
I don't know.
But it has that effect.
It's galaxy.
It was not difficult to make, though. No. So I would say that this is 100% a cocktail that you could whip out for date night.
Totally.
And look really impressive, but not have to do a ton of work.
Totally.
I honestly, when you told me what was in there, I was like,
seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And then there's like tequila, Chambord, Frangelico, what? Then coconut milk. And it's actually light and refreshing. So I was not expecting that.
On that note, we used light canned coconut milk. So the reason that we use the canned coconut milk when we make cocktails is because sometimes the boxed coconut milk can have preservatives, thickeners. They add things to it to enhance the flavor, enhance the shelf life.
I just learned why in the Tetra Paks, why they add those. So we drink milk. My husband drinks milk, that almond milk. It's very clean. It's like almonds, water, and salt. But I went on the company's website and I went to the About, and it says their container, it's like a thick, I don't know if you ever noticed how smooth and thick that plastic is. Yeah. It's a recycled plastic, and the shelf life is longer because they use a more recycled and expensive plastic. But when you use Tetra, you need a preservative.
The cardboard. You're talking about cardboard.
The cardboard in the lining of it is called Tetra. It's like a TETRA pack.
It's like aluminum on the inside and cardboard on the outside,
right? But it eats organic materials, so they have to line it with preservatives. Okay. So that's why this company Milk is like, no, we buy the more it's $8.99 for a small.
I don't even know if it's a whole liter. It's probably like $7.50.
Yes, probably. And he said if we go taller, then we'd have to add preservative because it's a natural organic product. So I just learned that, like, so the smaller it is, it's expensive because it's expensive for them to make, but it's to keep it natural.
So that's an interesting thing because anytime I go to a coffee shop, it's so funny because because you came over earlier and said, hey, can I get you a coffee? And I go, yeah, but I can't have almond milk from coffee shops because I am incredibly reactive, ostensibly allergic to sunflower and sunflower oil. Like, I got to check my chips. I got to check anything that's processed. I have to make sure that it doesn't have sunflower oil. So I can never have almond milk from a coffee shop because it is always the stuff that comes in these cardboard Tetra packs, and it will ruin me for about 4 to 6 hours. Yeah. So I can sometimes do coconut milk because that's naturally, they don't use thickeners as often because coconut is naturally more thick. But I go to this one coffee shop, and I'm going to call them out because this is going to be a love-hate thing. Ready? Blue Bottle Coffee in Los Angeles. Okay. I love their coffee.
They're not in the service business, though.
So good. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
There.
They are all such assholes. And I'm calling you out right now, Blue Bottle, because I can also say at the same time.
It's delicious.
It's so good.
That New Orleans, what is it, New Orleans style?
It's the New Orleans coffee.
Oh, it's
got the chicory root in it.
It's so good.
The other thing that I love about them is that they use good milk. And so good milk doesn't have any oils or preservatives in it. It's just like almonds, water, maybe sea salt, maybe dates. I don't think so. It's not very sweet.
Yeah.
So this is why I feel comfortable calling out Blue Bottle, because your coffee is fucking amazing.
Phenomenal.
But everyone that works there is such a dick. It takes like 20 minutes to get your coffee, and they're so arrogant. I once went in and said, like, hey, can I just have, they make all of their coffees when you order it. Yes. There's no batch coffee. Nope. So it is all fresh pour overs. Yes. And you go in, you order your coffee. It's like, I don't mind waiting a few minutes for that. You're getting you can taste the difference. But I asked for can I just do a coffee and steamed milk, like a misto? And they were like, we don't do that
mistos.
Here.
Yeah.
And they but they didn't just say we didn't do it. Like the attitude they caught a serious attitude. And every time I go in there, they're like, you can wait for your coffee. Yep. I think they know that they're amazing, so they're so arrogant.
It's honestly every person I know, and I'm a coffee drinker. I drink it twice a day.
I didn't even
once
have
in the
to
morning.
say it, and you already knew where I was going.
Every person I know with Blue Bottle has the same. They're like, man, that coffee is so good, but the girl did never even look me in my eye. Like her back, my girlfriend went in, her back was like, yeah, how can I help you? And she was like, what's in this drink? She's like, it's on the list. Everything in the drink is listed on the list.
Okay, ma'am.
I know.
Coffee.
But if you're paying their coffees are like $8
for a small one.
I know it's so small. The other day I ordered 2 because I was like, this is not a one coffee kind of day. I need 2, and I brought my own cup to mix them in so I could have a double coffee because there is no option. It's one size, right? Yeah. And I listen. I love I do love their coffee, and I put up with the attitude because it's that good, and maybe that's why they do it. I don't know.
Maybe it's the lure.
Maybe it's the lure. I don't know, but maybe I also started ordering with their app, so I have to have minimal interaction with the people there.
Oh, they have an app.
They have an app, and you can pre-order, and when you show up, you just pick it up.
See, I'm usually the kind of person that's like, if it's bad customer service, I won't return.
Same, but I like their coffee so much.
But I'm also a little bit of a hooker. And if it's good enough, I'm coming back.
I do the same thing if they have crap customer service. There's so many options out there in the world that I'd really love to give my business to somebody that's happy to have it.
Yeah, no passion.
It's true.
Right, happy
or
to
just kindness. It's so easy. I'm just I want to be around people that are nice.
It's easier to be nice. It takes effort to be super mean and rude and assholey. And I say that because a lot of people forget. When you look at a baby, when they're crabby, it's for a reason. They are hungry, or they shat their pants, or pissed on themselves.
Reflux.
Reflux.
Don't know how to communicate.
Don't have the use of... It's their only means. But when you become an adult and you had a bad day and you walk into a meeting, it is not your job to come into that meeting with a day on your chest.
100%.
You need to walk in there and say, everyone's had a day.
Yep.
Let's just create or have this meeting, do what we need to do, and I'll deal with it. But most people dump their emotional shit on other people all day long.
I will say anytime someone walks in and is like, hey, how are you doing today? Because this is now a common greeting, and I have a problem with this as a whole. When someone's like, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? It's not, you're not even thinking about what you're asking or what you're saying. Yeah. You're like, you're checking out my groceries. You don't really want to know. Yeah. Right? Just say, hey, hope you're having a good day. Don't ask me how I'm doing, because I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I think anytime someone walks into a room and is like, guys, sir, ma'am, whatever, I've had a day. I'm doing my best. I would appreciate your patience. Almost everybody's going to go like, okay, yeah, I got you.
Yes.
But if you just project and you're a dick and you don't explain where you're at, then people are just going to be like, well, that person's an asshole.
But I think that's attention-seeking behavior when you're purposely being mean and you're changing the energy in the room and you're shifting everyone over.
You mean that someone wants them to go? Somebody to go, hey, is something wrong? What's wrong?
And I usually don't reward that with an ask. I just hit the ignore button.
Yeah, I started doing with my friends like I read. Have you guys read Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown? Changed my life. So basically, Brene Brown. Yeah, you guys all know her. She came up with this book called Atlas of the Heart, and she goes over 87 different emotions, like how to articulate the difference between being jealous and envious, or stressed and overwhelmed.
So specific,
but it's so specific, and I'm like, shh. Oh, can I cuss on here?
Yes.
I'd be like, shit. Oh, yes. Like, that's what I was feeling. I didn't know how to say that. But now, so now with my friends, instead of just being like, Cass, how are you doing? You say, what are you feeling? Because it's impossible to feel one emotion at this one time. So when you're grieving, you could also feel relief. You could feel sadness. When you're happy, you could also feel like fear or something. So if you actually want a conversation with a friend or someone that you really care about, instead of just saying like, how are you? Say like, what are you feeling?
That's so good.
Well, because most people don't take the time to check in with themselves. Because my guess is that when you say that, you probably have a lot of people that are going,
what the hell?
How am I feeling? I haven't thought about this today. Yeah. We live in this culture where everything is go, 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 that you don't actually stop and check in with yourself that often. Like sometimes you do. I try to make it a priority at least a few times a week, but that's not enough.
I know. I mean, I have a therapist, so my therapist helps me be like, how are you? But I think what you're saying is, what Brene Brown is saying is actually very profound, because when I feel a large amount of happiness, fear injects itself. And it's been that way for years. And I know this is like an issue of mine where I'm like, can't be too happy because the world has a way of humbling you.
Oh, yeah.
And but both can be true. And I hold space for both. Because I know the moment something good happens, or like, I'm like, oh, like my daughter did this. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Wait, what's going to happen? Yeah. You know?
Because you're like, why did I deserve all this?
I dealt with that for a long time, and I don't think that I do anymore, because I think I've shifted my perspective to go like, listen, there's always going to be problems, right? Facts. So like you shift your perspective, and maybe that problem has cleared up over there, but now I got this one over here. One of my favorite authors is Mark Manson. And he has this whole theory about like, listen, the second that you live a problem-free life is the second that you're dead. Life is all about exchanging your existing set of problems for a better set, an improved set of problems. Like maybe you start off in your 20s and you can't pay your rent. And then, fast forward a few years and you're paying your rent just fine, but you're not giving yourself enough time because you're working all the time. Yeah. Right? So it's all about the exchange of taking the problems that you have and getting better versions of those problems. And I think that even if you're a millionaire, I used an example with money there, but it's also relationships. It's also personal mentality. And Ariel, you've done so much work with mental health. And I feel like this is a very natural passion for you, this book, and just kind of getting into how can we get people to vocalize how they're feeling, both mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because you've done a bunch to kind of get people to acknowledge where they're at mentally.
Yeah. No, suicide prevention is like a huge thing in my life. I grew up in a village. I went to school with fluctuating, depending on the years, like 12 to 16 people. And my graduating class, like 7 died by suicide. And so after my best friend died by suicide, I was like, I need to do something. Like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening so much in like our circle of friends? Like, I have over like 30. Me and my friend counted it the other day, but we stopped at 34. We were like, these are close friends and family.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but. Well, get back to a happier note really fast. Right. Or not a happier note, but so going back to, said something about like holding grudges and choosing to be happy. It's so much easier to choose happiness.
Totally.
Okay. I want to ask you guys though, cause you guys have kids and like cultured and everything. Mm-hmm. So for me, I could have someone pass away or cheat on me or do something really crappy, but I will forgive them in 30 seconds. And so my sisters think I'm a fool, but I'm like, I know in a year I'm gonna like all my exes I'm best friends with, and then like all of them I'm so close with. My last ex, like pretty much setting him up. I was like, you're gonna either date my sister or my best friends because I love you so much, but I'm not gonna be, like I'm just not good at relationships. So I'm like, go. Like, just pick one of them.
I want you to be happy, and you're such a good person that I would prefer that you be happy with one of my people because I would like to keep you in my life.
Exactly.
But maybe I'm just not refined or in a place where I could be accepting in a relationship right now because you're so nomadic. Yeah. You're all over the place. Yeah. You fly into LA and you like you do these adventure shows, and every time I talk to you, you're somewhere else. So that's got to be difficult for a relationship.
But thank you. It is super difficult. But then my question though is, for me, I think it's healthy to bypass the anger and the like being envious or something, and I could immediately and honestly, I could immediately put myself in like, that's fine, like we're good. I'm happy and I'm not kidding. My sisters are like, it's fake. I'm like, it's not.
Okay, like, here's my comment on that because I actually this is something that I've talked about with my husband before. He always says, you're so chill, you're so chill, you're so chill. And it's not that I'm actually very type A. I have a hard time just relaxing. What he means is that it takes a lot to elicit an angry response out of me. And I remember being in college and even like my college boyfriend at the time, he would do something, it's college, whatever, like not even that big of a deal. He got too drunk at a frat party and then threw up on my shoes or whatever. I don't know. I just made that up. But I remember so many times my sorority sisters or my friends being like, aren't you pissed? I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed for sure. You should go tell him. You should go tell him that you're pissed. And I remember thinking, in college is kind of that age, late teens or early 20s is kind of the first time that you're alone. You have the autonomy as an adult to act on these things, right? You're not in a school where a teacher's telling you what you can or can't do. You're not around a parent. It's you getting to decide how you want to live your life. And I remember going, yeah, no, I totally, like, you're right. Wait, but should I be mad about this? I don't think I'm actually mad about this.
Or how do I get mad about this?
Well, I know, but there's so many times where I'm like, this is not how I want to expend my energy. This is not where I want to give my energy. I want to wait for the things that I'm actually really upset about because I don't want to pretend like I don't want to make a thing out of nothing. I don't want to pretend like I'm mad about something when I don't have that internal response
or the energy.
Well, I completely opposite of the two of you. It is like door number one. You guys are door number two. I'm door number one, which is it depends on what happened. So, like, you get into the realm of, like, disrespectful behavior. And I'm talking about with friends. I'm not even talking, like, husbands, boyfriends, yes. I mean, I've been cheated on by ex-boyfriends. Like, I've had friends that have came and gone. And I think what I always do, which is just kind of a life skill that my grandmother taught me, is before you overreact, you got to make sure that person was clear.
Ooh. And you like, was it a mistake or was it an intentional fuck you?
Yes, because then your reaction then is warranted. Because if someone was like, "Oh my God, you're offended by that? Fuck, no,
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that."
Then that elicits a response from me like, "Oh shit, you didn't even know that. Oh, well, we're good."
That's kind of what we were talking about earlier in the conversation, though, is the intention of when you say something, what is the intention behind it? And I think that is, I can't say everything because, listen, you could say something really negative, and even if you say it in jest, it's going to hurt someone. Yes. But I do think that intention is about 90%.
I agree.
So. And I think, like, your heart could only hold so much energy, and I sound so like woo woo, but
no, we love the woo.
We love it here.
We love woo.
But it's like it could only hold so much space, and so if you come across situations every day that you could have hurt someone could have hurt you, but it goes back to like the intention. My intention was not to hurt somebody. Right. Theirs was not to hurt me. All this stuff. Have you guys ever heard like the analogy of like a crayon box of your emotions? Like,
yes.
Most people have like red, blue, purple, whatever.
The primary colors.
Is anger, happiness, sadness. And so when I talk to my sisters, they're like, you're so basic. You're the most basic crayon box. Don't you want these magentas, maroons,
Sometimes that
turquoise?
complicates things, though.
I know, but
you want to be a periwinkle? No, you don't. You want to be blue or purple.
But then, am I? So my question, like earlier, I wanted to go back to it and like, am I missing out on magenta or maroons?
This is my perspective on emotional behavior and emotional intelligence, because they're two separate things. How you behave is usually a past trauma because it's quick.
Well, that has a lot to do with shaping your perception, because if someone does or says something to you that is kind of cutting into an existing scar,
like a trauma,
you're going to react a certain way.
And it's quick.
Versus if something's happening for the first time, you are going to go, oh, well, that must have been a mistake, and you move on.
You move on. And I feel like emotional intelligence is something that I do. Me and my husband, we are very, it took me a long time to get to a place where I understood other people's emotion outside of my own, because I was very reactive for a very long time. And then it took me a while to like learn to see other people's reaction and then adjust my reaction. And with our daughter, we do a lot of exercises with her where we sit her down and we're like, how are you feeling when that person did that? And she's like, well, I don't know, I got angry. She's not an adult. And I'm like, yeah, but did you feel a little sad maybe? She's like, well, I did because my feelings were hurt because she wasn't my friend, whatever it was. But then you draw her down emotionally to talk about it in real words. And then she's like, I actually don't really, at the bottom of everything, I really don't care about that argument. I love my friend. And I think as adults, you lose our parents weren't probably great at emotional intelligence or emotional IQs. So,
well, we just know more now.
Yes.
Because this is my mom all the time we weekly had spaghetti night, right? And we're not Italian. We're not of Italian heritage.
No, you're not. You're like a Viking.
Nope. And so my mom would always get like bagged or boxed spaghetti and a can of Prego and those pre-made super chemical laden breadsticks.
Super chemical laden.
And
and tell me the Parmesan cheese with the green top.
Cheese with the green top that doesn't go bad for a decade and ants won't touch it.
That's
right?
it. That's in the war bunker.
It's so bad for you. And now, but the thing is back in the 90s, my mom was like, homemade meal. This is way better than McDonald's. And, frankly, she's not wrong on that front. Is it in the same ballpark as McDonald's with all of those preservatives and chemicals and all that stuff? Sure. It's very different than going to an Italian restaurant where they hand make the pasta and the sauce. And, I always make my own sauce now, and I make a big batch of it, and I freeze it.
It's very
because
good.
There's no preservatives or anything. And I never am upset with my mother for that. How could you feed me that stuff? Because at the time, the knowledge was homemade food is better than fast food. And now the knowledge is wait a minute. There's 27 grams of sugar in a can of Prego. I don't know if that's the actual number, but it's up there, right?
And people also add a teaspoon, and they add a teaspoon. I saw a girl on Instagram. Sugar. Sorry, this is a sidebar. I saw a girl on Instagram the other day. I watch a lot of food videos. I do. And sometimes some of those sneak on my Explore page. And it was a lady with ragu, which is basically
same
Prego's
as Prego,
cousin.
same shit. Yep.
And she was like, and you gotta add a teaspoon of sugar to bring out the flavors.
No, it already has a bunch of sugar.
And I was like, you're adding sugar on sugar.
It already has a bunch of sugar. But the point is at the time, the science and our knowledge, and this is before the information technology wave, right? At the time it was, hey, eating an at-home meal is better than fast food. And that is correct and is still correct. And now we're fine-tuning that knowledge and saying, yes, an at-home meal, but if you're eating processed foods, it's kind of in the same ballpark as fast food. So what can we do to make some improvements to get fresh pasta or fresh sauce or sauce that maybe does not have the same preservatives and sugar and chemicals and thickeners, etc. And so I think that's also the same with, just not just parenting, but relationship psychology. Yep. Is that we're learning so much that it's information that the generation before us didn't have.
Yeah.
I think that it's the balance of everything. My grandma died. She just passed away a couple months ago, but hunted fish every day. Grew up in the middle of nowhere, raised 13 kids pretty much on her own, chopping wood, all the stuff. hence
the Forager.
Hence the Forager smoked a thing of Pall Malls every day. Like crush buds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we're all just like, her social life, her ability, like feeding people every night. She had people at her kitchen table, serving people, making herself like available, and like your service is the biggest thing. Like to offer your time and your skills to your community. That I think that you could like do so many unhealthy things, but if you're a part of a community, your relationships, if you're serving other people, I think it's so important and so untouched by.
That's an intangible exchange.
Yes.
That's something that's feeding your soul,
and your soul loves it. There's a like one of my pastors said a long time ago. He was like, there's a reason why your soul feels so good when you do for others, unprompted.
Yep.
You feel good about yourself. And that's a kinetic energy exchange where you're doing the human exchange, not the monetary, not you do for me, I do for you, or let's trade this goat for this horse. It's literally like, I want to do what I feel in this moment. And he's like, and you get that fourfold back.
Well, that's karma, right? That's this age old principle of karma, where what you put out into the universe is what you get. And it might not be like, I do something nice for you, so you do something nice for me. It's not about that. It's that if I'm putting out an energy of giving, love, gratefulness, then it's going to come back to me in another way. That is, they've now proven in quantum physics that is real life.
That's
as the world turns.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing. Like when I talk to like kids about suicide prevention. My big thing with suicide prevention, get kids so stoked about being alive, give them opportunities, experiences, show them how amazing life could be, and that it wouldn't even be an option to like have their life like to kill themselves.
How could I think about a life without me?
And so one of the biggest things I've learned, and I'm still learning, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but what I've learned so far is if you could teach these kids to like, hey, if you're having a shit day, go help your grandma chop wood. Go help someone in the grocery store carry their bags. You feel so much better.
See, the service. It's always comes back to the
so much better.
Acts of service.
You're like, I did this. I made someone's day, and then it inadvertently makes your day because you made someone else's day.
Yeah, and you're like, I did something today that made it better. And
I remember this one time, and I recognize that I'm telling people now, but only anecdotally, not on purpose. But I remember that Steven and I were on a work trip, and we were at this, we said, let's find this cool local steakhouse, and we went to this steakhouse, and it's just him and I. We're having a little date night celebrating, the end of a long work weekend. And there's this family of four. They're sitting right across from us. It's 2 kids, 2 adults. And it clearly looks like the woman is in a wedding dress and the male is in a suit. And so were the 2 kids. They were in like little mini suits and flower girl, whatever. And we pulled over our waiter. We go, did they just get married? Like, are they here? Like, did they go to the courthouse or something? Like, there's no reception. They're just like enjoying their day with their children, right? And we go, hey, we want to take care of their tab, but don't tell them who did it or how. Don't give any story. Just say like, have a nice day. Congratulations, right? And that wasn't so that we could be like, take care of their tab. It was just how many times you get the opportunity
100%.
to do something amazing for, like, that was their big day.
Yeah.
And it feels so great. It wasn't about the bragging rights. It was just about making their day.
It wasn't like, hey, I paid for your tab.
They were so pumped.
Yeah. But also, how great did you feel?
Oh, amazing!
By being able to have the opportunity. We told the waiter that if they told them who did it, that we were revoking, like that it was going to be on the restaurant. So we're like, you are not allowed to tell. And they definitely went, who did it?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry, all I can say is it's taken care of. And it was like, yes, it was so exciting.
And you feel better than they do receiving. Giving is always better than receiving sexually.
Okay, Valentine's Day, the Love Forager.
We are talking about Valentine's Day. But giving is always better than receiving because I watched this documentary, and I'm a documentary gal. I read a lot, but I also watch a lot of documentaries, and I understand some of these people aren't experts, but this guy was a quantum physics MIT grad, and he teaches the blah, 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 astronomy, blah, blah, blah.
Is that a technical term?
Yes. I don't remember, but it was like 4 ... doctor, PhD after his name. So he said the reason why giving, like when we teach children to give to their friends, or why don't you draw something instead of buying something, where it's teaching them from the heart. Because when they draw a picture, I'm talking about small kids, when you draw a picture for your friend for the birthday card and you're like, I love you, I hope you have a great birthday. They're giving a part of their artistry, which is a part of their soul, to another person. So the idea of like relationships, when you choose to spend time with someone, you're giving a piece of you to that person all the time. And you're giving it freely.
Yeah.
Receiving's great. I mean, sexually, I love receiving too. But giving is better.
Just not from a sheep.
We love that too.
Bestiality is not great on TTT.
From a sheep.
But I will say the art of giving is a soul connection. It's a soul tie, and it's a soul connection that I myself want to get better at. I've always told myself I want to get better.
I wonder, because this is just coming out of my ass right now.
Ooh, love that.
No.
On the topic of sexual giving and receiving.
No, but I wonder if because it expends more energy to give.
Thought processes behind it.
And then instead of receiving, but I feel like when you're giving it has so much more. And that's why it feels so much better than just like
more rewarding.
Yeah.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
When you choose to give to someone your time, your energy, whatever, or cook a meal.
Yeah.
That is important.
Is that Oprah's saying? It's just like her Super Soul Sundays.
Yes.
Hey, girl. No, it's just time. I think
she has those 3 pillars that honestly, I mean, you can hate on Oprah if you want to.
Oh, whatever.
I don't think anyone hates on her.
I love Oprah.
I love Oprah. I love Oprah.
I don't love her. But how can you hate on her? No one hates Oprah.
Okay, I have a quick Oprah story. I have a very quick Oprah story. So I was like 9, and my mom's dad, my grandpa, his wife at the time was her executive producer at the old Harpo Studios in downtown Chicago. So we and Siobhan were like, me and my sister, we were like, you know Oprah? She's like, yeah, I'm her EP. And also like a Harpo Studios. She's like, you want to go meet her? And we were like, oh, well, totally. She's like, well, after the audience leaves, you guys can come up. And it was back when she had those foldable chairs in her studios. And me and my sister go, and Oprah comes out, and she's like, are you guys going to interview me? Because I heard you from California, and Jeannie is like my boss, and she tells me what to do. And she spent 2 hours with us until I was 18. She told me, she sat me and Siobhan down. She said, hey, I will send you a gift until you're 18. And then she said, you know, I'm moving my show to 3:30. You know, it won't be at 12:30 anymore. That was before it moved. So me and Siobhan went back to
school. Post-school.
Remember, it moved. It was 12:30, then it moved to 3:30. And then she's like, every birthday hula hoop. I got rollerblades when those were like popping.
Oprah sent you shit every birthday?
Right hand. Right until I was 18 years old. And then my 18th birthday.
You expired. You're an old bitch.
Well, 17th birthday, she's like, what colleges are you looking at? And I told her the colleges, and then she's like, if you get into any of your picks that you go to, I will give you a college appropriate gift. And her gift to me and my sister was a year older than me, was applying for certain scholarships that if we got those scholarships, then she would match. That's awesome. Right hand. We can call my sister.
Of course you love Oprah.
See? Flippin' love Oprah.
Look, and I'm
Who does it? You get a scholarship. You get a scholarship. You get a hula hoop. You get a hula hoop.
Love Oprah.
I love Oprah.
Well, shout out to Oprah. Cheers, guys. We're going to wrap it up.
I know.
Team Tequila Talks, Ariel Tweto, thank you for joining us.
This was
Check
great.
out the
So
Great
fun.
North. She's going to be the...
Clam pussy.
Yeah. Clam vagina.
I was going to say the Native Alaskan.
Sorry.
Yeah. Native Alaskan. Trails and Trailblazers too. We come out in... I don't even know.
Is that your travel?
It's a travel show.
We will tag all the
Trails
things.
and Trailblazers and the Great North.
Our IMAX movie is playing all across America right now in the IMAX theaters.
Hit your science museum
Hey-o.
ASAP.
Wait, what's your next movie?
It's a current movie. Morgan Freeman narrates it. So it's me, him, first Native American astronaut, John Harrington.
Morgan Freeman is kind of like Oprah. You can't get mad at him.
You can't get mad.
He says my name, and I'm like, can you please put
Say it again.
Isn't he?
Ariel Tweto.
Yeah, wasn't he God's voice on some documentary?
Oh, yeah.
He voiced the voice of it. I'm like, that's accurate AF.
I mean, he's pretty much God.
Yeah.
I love Morgan Freeman. I bow down to him.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for
so much.
joining
That's
us
so
on
fun.
Team Tequila Talks. And happy February. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, love.
Happy Love Day.
We didn't even talk about it.
It doesn't matter. We got it in.
We talked about loving yourself.
Yes.
Bestiality. Bushes.
No, not the same.